Review Clerks. It'll give you a pass away from the mandatory Crisco room.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Luke Innes here. We're going to be talking about one of the classic American 90s independent movies that sits high up in the ranks for a lot of people, along with the likes of Reservoir Dogs, as huge debuts that came out from really well-known directors during that time. We're going to be looking at Clerks. So, Clerks was directed by and written obviously by Kevin Smith. It stars Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson as Dante and Randall, two clerks who work respectively in a convenience store and the video shop next door. The film really doesn't have much of a plot. Dante gets called into work on his day off, as he constantly keeps reminding everyone that he's not even supposed to be here today. And Randall just kind of mooches around. The pair just sort of sit around discussing things. It's just a day in the life type movie, really. Along the way we meet Randall's girlfriend, Veronica. We later on meet his ex-girlfriend. Randall and Dante discuss the philosophy of the Star Wars movies. It's really all just sort of quite pointless stuff that's going on that they're discussing. It's not, they're not, none of the stuff in this movie is of any particular importance. It's just kind of a day happening as things go along, and it's a really interesting way of doing things. This movie is interesting for a number of reasons, not least because of the way it's shot. I mean, this movie is insanely cheap. This is under $30,000. We're talking, at the time, that was like half the amount of a music video budget, and this is a feature film. Part of that, they had to incorporate certain things into the story. The shutters are down in the whole movie, preventing any outside lights coming in. That's kind of incorporated into the plot. Obviously, someone's put gum into the locks so they can't be opened to be pulled up, because they could only film in the convenience store at night because it was a convenience store during the day. So they obviously had to film with the shutters down and the lights on in order to hide that. So they incorporate that into the plot. They did a lot. They did, some really interesting stuff in this movie with that. Certain scenes were cut because, that they knew they couldn't afford to do them. The whole movie is shot in black and white because black and white film stock is cheaper than colour. These days that's kind of immaterial because obviously if you want a truly cheap way to make a film, you use digital video. A film of any description comes up as quite a costly alternative. But obviously in 1993, digital video was just pure science fiction. So they were obviously having to use actual film stock in order to make this movie. I mean, the dialogue in this movie is just so witty, it's got to be said. It is an undeniably witty movie, and I know I'm not alone in thinking that this movie has so many laughs, like just constant end-to-end laugh. The way that these two characters communicate, it's just so relatable to someone like me. I'm a similar age now to these two characters. I mean, I think they mentioned that Dante's 22 in the movie. I'm 21, and in kind of a similar position to him in life, really. For me, this movie is definitely something that at this moment in my life feels more relevant than ever. Amongst this kind of story of nothing, if you will, there is a lot of kind of philosophy kind of shown, and this whole idea that what you do isn't who you are is something that you can take away from this movie. And this whole idea of what is happiness, what is success, who defines that? Do you? Does someone else define it for you? And I mean, that's the myriad of things that Clerks kind of has going for it from a narrative sense. Like I say, the overriding thing that Clerks really has going for it is that it is so fucking funny. This movie is hilarious. It's got to be one of the sweariest movies. If you were to count up the number of swear words per second in the movie, it's got to be up there in terms of pushing for a record in terms of the numbers of swear words per second. I mean, it's definitely not one to, watch in polite company. It's a very rude film. There's a lot of talk of sex acts and all sorts of other nastiness that has got to be heard to be believed and all of that sort of thing. It's, like I say, this movie, if you haven't seen Clerks, what are you doing? You've got to go and get it. Grab hold of a copy and check it out. This is one of my favourite comedy movies, I've got to say. It's a really inspiring movie. It's got a lot of really cool kind of philosophy behind it, that's not kind of forced down your throat. You know, it's there for you to find. It's really inspiring in terms of, you know, you look at it and you think, hey, I could make a movie. You know, Kevin Smith financed this movie by maxing out credit cards, selling comic books, and using his college fund. You know, that's how he made this movie. You know, it's kind of that. You know, you look at this movie. I, as someone who is an obsessive film fan, look at this and think, yeah, I could make a film if I wanted to. You know, one day, and I'm sure that's something that I will probably try and fail to do at some point. But hey, you know, that's kind of the Clerks philosophy, isn't it? You pick yourself up and you carry on. That's what this film is. It's two guys picking themselves up and carrying on for a day, even when it seems really shitty. Yeah, overall I'm going to give Clerks a 9 out of 10. I do think that this is a really great example of independent filmmaking. And like I say, I really do recommend this movie. Like I say, for film buffs, this is a bit of a favourite. So I might be sort of, you know, preaching to the converted a little bit because of that, because film buffs do have a tendency to love this movie. But like I say, if you haven't seen Clerks, you've really got to check it out. It's a really cool movie. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Luke Innes. Hope you enjoyed this video. There's a link to my podcast in the description. Please go and check that out. Until next time, stay safe.